Hello and welcome to Mini Shop's first ever how-to video. Today we're going to be making cute little mushrooms. Alright, what you're going to need is some clay, some white clay, I use Sculpey clay, some orange clay, this is a sweet potato color, some red clay, some yellow clay. You'll also be needing some tools, a potter's needle, but toothpicks work just fine. A knife. You can use a butter knife or an x-acto knife or a specialty knife, and a special detailing tool. This has a silicone brush on one end and a ball on the other, but you can also use a pen. All right, let's get started. I'm going to begin by taking some red clay, just a clump of it, and warming it up. So the clay starts out as hard. And it usually breaks off a little bit, but that's fine. We can just pick it back up. All right, molding it with the fingers, and it gets more smooth and more soft. Okay, that's warmed up. Now, let's take some orange clay. I'm gonna break off a little piece, and some yellow clay. Break off an even smaller piece, maybe about a fourth of the size, and mix them together. Not too thoroughly though, because this will give the mushroom some color, a little bit of varied color, and we want it to look natural, not completely mixed in. So I'm going to add the two colors. Adding. And we'll smooth them together until it kind of gives a little bit of a unique coloring to it. All right, now I'm going to take off a piece, break out however big of a mushroom you want. There's a couple sizes we can do, and roll a little ball. Put it on your palm and roll your fingers around like this. And now, once we have the ball, let's make sure to smooth the lines, and otherwise they'll become cracks in the oven. We're going to flatten the ball and make it into a gumdrop type shape. Now your mushroom may be like a perfect little gumdrop, or it may have one end flat, more flat than the other, or both ends flat, or just however you would like it to be, because your mushroom's unique. Okay, this is how mine's gonna look today. Now I'm gonna take some of this clay, I call it yuck clay, it's just scrap clay that I've used from others, and clean off my fingers, because as you see, the red sticks to the fingers. It's a potent color. And we're gonna be dealing with white, so I don't wanna make the white look pink. Okay, now that we've done that, we're gonna take our special tool, pen or silicone, and put a divot in the end here. That's at the base, the bottom. Setting that down, grabbing some white clay, taking a little piece and rolling it between my fingers, your fingers, into a little, it's a thick snake. Now we're going to take this and put it into that divot that we've created, leaving about 1/8 on each side. If you have little pieces on your finger, I just tap them into the white so they don't get on the red. Now I can pull it back to cover the the red, and we have that. All right, now we're going to take our tool here and make little ridges into the mushroom as it is on the real mushrooms. And to do it according to your liking, if you want a little bit more up here, you can take the tool and dab it in like so, just to make it more continuous. All right, now let's add the base. I'm going to stick a little hole here, like so. Take another piece of clay. I take a little bit more than I'll probably need, and roll it into a cone shape. Making sure that all the lines are smoothed out, so sometimes I have to re-roll it into a circle. Ah, here's where yuck clay comes in. See how the red's gotten in here? I take that out and I put it on this clay. All right. So we're going to create our little cone and stick it in here. Now I think this is a little too thick, so I want to make the top a tiny bit thinner, but this is all up to personal preference. I make it the top thinner than I want it to be because when I put it in, it usually squishes together. All right. Yeah, I like that. So we're gonna go to the back of the mushroom, take our needle tool and slide some clay up here to join them so it becomes a little more stable. Okay, now that we have that, you can either choose to leave it like so, or take our silicone brush or pen and create lines down the trunk. Just to your liking. As many as you want or as few as you want. And then I'll smooth it out. Here I want it a little bit thinner, so I'm going to push in the top a little bit. All right. Now we have that. I'm going to set it down and make some warts. To make the warts, we're going to take our silicone brush or pen and make some divots into the mushroom in kind of a continuous pattern, because the mushrooms they don't really have a pattern. Like I don't want to do every other, just want to do wherever you feel like your warts on your mushroom should be. All right. Now that we have that, if your hands have gotten a little bit red again, I'll take that yuck clay, clean them off. It just absorbs it. Take your white clay, and I like to take just a piece of the white clay, roll it into a little ball, and this is what I'm going to take the warts off of. So we're going to take a tiny piece, about yay big, and roll it into a little teeny tiny ball. Now you can place this in with your fingers into the divot, or use a toothpick. If you use your fingers, just be careful that you don't leave marks with your nails. I usually trim my nails to work on this. I'm just gonna keep making little warts and putting them down into here. This may take a little time. Usually while I'm doing the more detailed work on clay, I like to listen to podcasts or some guitar music or classical music. But most of the time I like to do it in silence. It's kind of peaceful and therapeutic. So keep adding these little guys, the little warts. It's taking shape. Now, the first time I saw these was a month or two ago. Seth and I were hiking the JMT, John Muir Trail, and we were about 180 miles in and maybe 18 miles into our day. It was getting towards the evening, and we were coming out into this beautiful, massive meadow. On the side of the trail, there were these mushrooms, like 5 of them, and they had some oranges in them and a bunch of warts, and they were just adorable. And I was really excited. I called him, like, Seth, come look. He was worried. He thought something was wrong, but it was just the mushrooms. So they were so cute. I had to just make some when I got home. So we've got these little guys. Just slowly be doing this. And oh, here's another technique. If you can't take a very small amount with your fingers, take your toothpick or potter's needle and take a little piece off. And then take that in your fingers and go like here. I'll just show you how to put it down with a toothpick then. You can put, this guy's gonna be a wart to the side, like so. And then just slightly tap them once you're done so they don't fall off afterwards. All right. Sometimes, this is something to say, sometimes white clay is a little bit softer than the other clays. So don't get discouraged if it smushes in your hands or anything. I just usually don't work too much with the white clay before I use it, and I take a break from it and let it harden up again. Also, this is going to be a magnet, but you can make it into any sort of little piece you want. It can be a pin or even just a little bead if you poke holes in it, something like whatever you want it to be. All right, we're almost done here. But I'm gonna add just a few teeny tiny pieces. Sometimes it smears on your fingers, that's okay. Just set those little guys on. I'm gonna tap my finger around to make sure they all stay. One last wart. Sculpey is the clay I like to use because it's the most malleable, but it holds its shape the best. And you can bake it in a normal oven at 275 for 15 minutes for every 1/4 inch. I'm not very particular on measuring, so I just usually do 15 minutes. And there we have our little toadstool. So once we put in the oven, let's pretend we put that in the oven. We're gonna take our little guy, and you see the back. But first, I'd give you a high five, but if you were here, we're going to sign. I always sign my pieces. So let's put our name. I'll put mini shop, but make sure you don't put it where the magnet will be, usually about there. Easy K. 2019. All right, so now we have that. This little guy is baked. So I'm gonna take some glue, just any super glue type, some magnets, and I have varying sizes of magnets here, and a toothpick. And then this clay is so that it catches drops. I'm going to see which size fits this guy. It's the bigger one for this. Take this magnet off. Set those aside. Open the super glue. You don't want to put it near anything else magnetic because these magnets are very strong. I'm going to take the toothpick and take some super glue, squeeze it out. Set that there. Put the super glue on the magnet. And then figure out where I'd like this to be. I'd set it so I don't see it from the front. Here we go. Hold it there for a minute. Sometimes your mushroom may have too much of a divot, so you'll just need to add a little bit more super glue to let it even out. All right. Now that's that. You can't see it from the front. I'm going to set it right here. All right. Next time, we're going to make a pumpkin. So like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram so you can see when my next video comes out. Have a great day. Bye.